How's it going, everybody? Herblox with you. Out here on the remote property finally. Getting something done out here. All of these plants out here are pretty much exactly what I was expecting. Horribly dead. But at least it wasn't a disappointment because I already knew. There might be a tiny little bit I can salvage out of this, but I don't know. Anyway, I started redoing some things, try some different stuff here. So what I've done, I dug this row out already. I got to get some of these weeds that were growing out of my soil pile. This is all just dumped in there. I haven't raked this out yet. But I figured while I have the machine out here, it would be easier to dig this out and just dump the dirt in there instead of piling it up and then moving it again later. So I don't really have the time to move all these buckets and do all of those rows. So today I'm just doing this row and this one. This one was 2 rows like these over here, but I couldn't get my machine back and forth in here where this line was without destroying and running over buckets and everything over there. So I'm just going to do one for now. But just to give you an idea of what I'm doing, just kind of V'd out a little trench. Then as I go way up there where I have my soil piled up, just coming out here and shaking it into place. And I brought 12 testers out here just to see how it's going to fare now. I still got to throw some fertilizer on there and water them in. I'm just going to throw a little 444 on top of them and that's it. This soil's pretty rich, so that'll just give them a little boost when I water them in, and then hopefully they take off from there. But they're raised up a little bit more, and hopefully this little berm of sand on the side with a few rains will harden up and keep that up out of the ground a little bit more, and this will provide better drainage. That soil drains very, very well, so it won't stay saturated. I think when I dug the pots out before, kind of like pots if you want to call them that, I just dug out about a 7-gallon hole equivalent and threw some of the soil in there, but when it rained, it didn't really drain out of that bowl and just remained saturated. So I'm thinking that if I do this and then down on the low end, I'll kind of just pitch it out, so any water that builds up in there will kind of leach out a little bit, and maybe leach out of the sides here a little bit. This will settle down a little bit once it rains a few times. It's all fluffy right now. But yeah, I guess that's about it. Just want to see if this time of year, the rain is slowed down up here a little bit, even though you can't really tell. It's all flooded all around here. This is all area that I raised up, where I dug all of this dirt out of here. All of this white sand that you see is all that I dug out of here and raised it up like 3 feet over the normal water level. Problem is, it rains so much it just stays saturated, so I need better drainage. But yeah, I'll get started with this and see if maybe taking it out of the more extreme summertime per usual, when it's a little calmer out here, we'll do a little bit better. And then I'm going to do at home a fall grow too, and I'm also probably going to do a fall grow out here. At that point, I'll probably have to set up an irrigation system or come out here and water. Just drop a pump in there and run a hose up here and water all of them until I can get an irrigation system running. But before I go through all of that, I want to make sure that this is going to work out, and I'm not putting a ton of plants out here. I just stuffed a few in the cab of my truck to bring out here that I had extra. I had a lot extra because I was planning on planting several more rows out here, but I don't think that I'm going to take that chance yet until I see what happens. But I'll give these girls probably about a month or so out here, and if they're doing well, then I'll finish planting this. I'll finish planting that row, and if I have time to, I'll clean up these 2 rows here. I was wanting to leave this weed barrier down just in case I had to go with buckets, but you can see over here this low spot's kind of holding water right here. So eventually I'll probably take this liner out of here and raise this up a little bit and maybe V in between, so any water that rolls off doesn't just roll off onto these plants and off onto those plants. It'll kind of gutter out, and then I'll just have to pitch them all down towards the water so it all flows out. It's going to take a lot of work. It takes an awful lot of time to do it, so it's just little steps at a time. I probably won't even finish brushing this up this weekend until I figure out what's going to happen with these and see if that works out. I mean, eventually something has to give, even if I have to build this up even higher to where all of the soil is above ground level. Eventually it'll happen, but we shall see. All right, everybody, I'm going to get back to it. I'm going to finish filling this up and then just pile up the rest of my soil over here, or maybe back over in that corner to make it easier, maybe down on that end. So if I don't have a machine here and I got to use wheelbarrows, I don't have to go back and forth so far with all of the loads. All right, have a good one, everybody. See you on the next one.